and Richard from South Shields is next. Hiya, Richard.
Hello, Alan.
Hello there.
Hey, I tell you what. Do you know tonight?
Uh-huh.
It's been a bit weird, right?
Was it?
Because, yes, I watched this programme myself. Well, tonight, it was 7:30. It was about people that could hear voices, right?
Right.
And sometimes, do you know, like in the past, if you could hear voices, you were something like a really good artist or somebody to do with the nice things in life.
What you've just said there doesn't make any sense. Explain that.
Well, the voices controlled you and for to draw stuff like and put it in the art format.
Like who? Who heard those voices then?
Well, this programme it was on tonight at 7:30 on Channel 4.
Right.
It was about hearing voices.
Right.
Like loads and loads of people hear voices, right?
Right.
Whether it be their own guilty conscience or someone like God or whatever, they hear them, right?
Uh-huh.
Now, some people can be guided into things like to do art stuff, or can be it's like a gift, not to give. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you're saying that the voices tell them to be a good artist or something?
Well, on this programme there was like doctors.
Right.
They were guided into being doctors because they were told spiritually, like via the material world. Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the fourth dimension. They were in a more of a higher state of mind, and they were told that that's what they had to be, and that was their purpose on life, to be doctors, to bring people back to life and stuff. And they were gifted, right?
Right.
And then you had other people that were artists, and they heard other things. But there was a lot of people that were proven to be insane, to the point in which when they heard voices, they were told to do bad things to themselves or to other people. Do you know what I mean? And I got really, really in touch with that format of working out that people can listen to, like, other dimensions. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Because do you know how you say, like, people can see ghosts, or they've got, like, invisible friends?
Mm-hmm.
This, like, really caught on of it. Because when I thought about invisible friends, I thought, well, everybody's had the invisible friend, whether it be, like, do you know what I mean? Have you had an invisible friend when you were younger?
Don't think so.
No, but have you known people that have? Or
I've talked to night owls that have had children that have spoken to people that they can't see, but the child believes they can see them.
Well, they reckon that in scientists' theory of ghosts and stuff, children, the brain is more acceptable to pick up images of ghosts and people from the other dimensions on Earth. And when they put it through into, like, stuff that you were thinking about, and it was like a real bad deja vu for me, because I had been thinking about that like 10 years ago, and it was just a film about what had happened in the year 2006. Do you know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And it was just like, it brought us right into context about stuff that you could hear voices. Because do you know, sometimes when I listen to you, Alan, I'm not being funny, on a night time, it drops us off to sleep, right? Sometimes when I'm listening to you, and I'm listening to all the night owls, they're so calming. There's no ulterior motives to what they say. It's like really true and like straight to the point.
Right.
And some people, they try to make all these things up. But lately, I've been thinking there must be more to the point than all of these things like ghosts and stuff. Because, like, instead of it just being something like a psychological effect that your brain's had because of, like, being in pain or whatever, and you start to reminisce about stuff like that you've seen. Or, like, if you see something like the Aurora Borealis, which is just a natural phenomenon, you think, oh, I've seen something really spectacular, like a UFO. Do you know what I mean? But some of these things that we're talking about, how they actually got there. Because if you think about the technology that we've got now, compared to, like, before, when you couldn't really pick things up on digital cameras and stuff, all the amounts of stuff that you can see, like ghosts and that, which aren't in our dimension, They're in another dimension.
Are they? How do we know that that's where they are?
Well, in our dimension, we can see people like I could see you, or whatever.
Well, what about people that have seen images of people that looked as solid as you or I? That's got to be in this dimension then, hasn't it?
Well, is it that what they've seen in our dimension, or is it in another dimension that we can't see? Because what I believe in is there's the past dimension and there's the forward dimension, but all time's different, and it's inconsensual to the point in which you've got things that you can get put into. Do you know, like into a situation where that's what's going to happen and it's inevitable. Whereas when you've got other dimensions where you can change things like time and history, which you don't have to, it doesn't have to be something that's going to have to happen. It could be something else. And you're in that position. And you've got things like...
Yeah, but who's been in that position? Nobody's been in that position, and you're guessing.
Well, no, it was actually on this programme tonight.
Yeah, but because it's on a television programme doesn't make it true.
No, but do you know, like this digital age where we've got digital cameras and stuff like that, they can actually more pinpoint it to the point in which it's actually written in your DNA and stuff.
What's written in your DNA?
Well, all things like the future events. Do you know how you have a deja vu? And it's actually in your brain, and it's like the part of the process of learning. You actually know what you are going to be when you're actually conceived, and then when you're born, you're actually gifted or spiritually guided by that thing. And then when you get to a consensual age, to about like 20, 21, 22, you actually become the person that you were supposed to be. And that's your purpose on life.
Do you really believe that everybody, when they're growing up, their body knows exactly what they're going to do? Because I know loads of people that have changed their career 8 or 9 times before they found one that they were happy with, but they were happy because it was their choice to be happy in it. It wasn't that the jobs that they'd had before were necessarily bad, just they ended up not being the right ones for them.
Yes, that's exactly the point, but you can't actually change history, so you are going to be that person anyway. Do you know what I mean?
Well, what do you mean you can't change history? Do you not think that somebody growing up who loses an arm, and yet all their life they wanted to be a writer, say, or a cricketer? I mean, that kind of stuff happens all the time. So that disproves the whole thing, doesn't it?
No, well, it doesn't, because you're then destined to do something else. Because if you're left like that, and you haven't actually done the thing like what you were supposed to do, and you thought that you were supposed to do that, it hasn't actually changed history, because you've actually turned into the alternative job that you were supposed to do, and that was your purpose on life, to do the alternative job. Because you were stopped from doing it if you were having your arm amputated or whatever, so you had to learn something to do with your right arm, or do something completely different. Do you know what I mean? For the future purpose of some people lose their arm, right, and then they get a robotic arm transplanted onto their arm, to make them work. But other people wouldn't have got that. Like heart transplants are all redesigned and stuff, because other people have bad experiences with that. So that's like future advancement for all doctor work and stuff. So you can't actually turn around and say that's not where the technology is going down. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I don't personally believe any of that.
Yes, but it almost be true. Because all of the stuff
why must it be true?
Well, they turn around and they say that robots...
No, but hang on, why must that be true before you move on? Why must that be true?
Well, the only truth must be is because it's happened, and it says that it was going to happen, it did happen.
Give me an example of how it happened, that somebody was born definitely to be a certain something and therefore became that person, and it's just, if somebody...
A definite something.
Yeah.
Well, Jesus Christ was going to be Jesus Christ, and he was going to be the person who he was, and he...
Well, that depends. If you talk to a Jewish person,
right, or
if you speak to a Muslim, or you talk to a Christian, they'll give you 3 completely different stories. Which one's true?
Well, they're all true. But they
can't all be true.
Well, there must be.
They can't all be true, because if Jesus was the Son of God, and the Jewish people say he's not the Son of God, both those things can't be true.
Yes, but that's only what people say. It's like...
Well, that's exactly what I'm telling you. How you're giving me an example that he was born to be this. Depends who you talk to. If you talk to people who don't have any religious belief at all, he was either a person who never actually existed, or he was just another bloke.
Yeah, well, to be honest, right, Alan, to come off like religion and stuff, but you...
Well, you mentioned Jesus Christ, though, didn't you?
But you, mate, right, and I'll tell you this, Alan, you were destined to be a radio presenter for to get through and get us all through all of this stuff that we'll have to find out whether it's true or indifferent or non-believable. And you were destined to be this radio presenter that you are. We couldn't change the fact that you were going to be Alan Robson in the year 2006 to be Metal Radio's Night Owl presenter. It was destined to be. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I mean, it has proven that this is where I am. Absolutely, I hear that, and that makes sense. And you could argue everybody who's a plumber or a pipe fitter or a welder or the bloke who's working on the door of the club, they were destined to be that. Fate placed that at our doors, and that is how it has been. But to say that when I was born, some extra power said, this embryo will be a radio presenter. I don't believe that happened. It's just the way my life went got me to this place one way or another. But whether it was predetermined, I don't believe it was predetermined, because had several dozen other things happened, I could have taken a sideways step any which way. On numerous occasions.
But on that occasion,
so that's a personal choice thing. I could have made a choice to do something else.
But on that occasion, you turned around and you said you couldn't do that. But palmistry or something like reading the future, right, as like, do you know, like a person that can read the future through palmistry or whatever, can actually predict what you're going to do. You can't actually change the fact that that's what you were going to do.
Is, over the years, I've spoken to a lot of people who believed they had that type of power, mediums and clairvoyants.
Yeah.
And none of them have told me anything that I could say was substantive, anything that was particularly true. They were they're just making a few quid out of having a skill that most of them I don't think actually have. I'm sure there may be some special people, but there's damn few of them.
But on that basis of theory, right, this other thing, right, you can go down a dimension, so you start off like in an upside-down pyramid, and there's like 20 boxes on the top, and you're on the bottom, and you work yourself up to the 20th box, and that's like all the lives that you went through reincarnation. You don't know what you're going to be at the end of the day. But if you believe in reincarnation like everybody else does, because you turn around and say you've regressed people, and you believe in it, 100%, all of that regression must be all of the fact that through the ages, like the year 100 to the year 2006, you must have been there before. And all of those things you couldn't change, and you're not going to change all the things that are going to happen in the future. So we're just part of time, like a sand in the middle of the universe, like a speck of dust. We can't do anything. There's a much higher force than all of this, keeping it all working.
When you say there's a higher force, why does there have to be a higher force? Let's say that our energy does move on, and I believe that. Let's say our energy does move on and become something else.
Right.
Why does there have to be a force behind that? That could just be our energy moves. It can't be destroyed. Where does it go? It is reused in the form of nature.
To make another person.
You go into, even the bones left behind goes into the ground, feeds the land pushes plants out. It's the big circle of things. Why does there have to be some great chess master behind it all?
No, well, that's not the point, because the most special thing about it is we've actually come to realise that that's the case in the 2006 year of. Do you know what I mean? In the year 2006, we've actually come to believe that there's no such thing, and we're not frightened of dying because we're going to have everlasting life in the form of reincarnation and being reincarnated in the future. So what have we got to worry about? And when I turn around and say that, we were going to achieve world peace because I wished for it. It's actually happened. Because in the year 2006, on the 6th of the 606, the devil died. So there's not going to be any more of that stuff.
How did the devil die?
Well, I actually turned around and says it was going to be Armageddon, but it wasn't. It was actually because the devil died, and that's when all of the stuff had been written to the point in which they don't exist no more, and they've got no leader like the devil's people, and it's all God related now.
Right. Okay. Now the thing is, we're heading into into kind of cuckoo land here. I understand you've had as close to a proper conversation as I could ever have imagined, Richard, so I thank you for that, but I'm going to move on. Thanks for calling. Oh, what, that was kind of closer. And I know a lot of you came on up as soon as you heard his voice saying, kick him off, kick him off, kick him off. And there's been dozens and dozens and dozens of them. Every week, you open up and you give people the benefit of the doubt. It's a night owl way. And what he says about predetermination is something we haven't particularly got into. Do you believe it? Do you think we are all predetermined to be what we're meant to be right from the very beginning? Have you raised a child that was always going to do a particular thing and nothing would sway them? Who's next? I think it's Sarah from Wheatley Hill. Hiya, Sarah.
Hello, I'm on the ones and twos and I hyper.
Is that right?
Yes, I am.
Oh.
Right, first off, before I go into all me Ujimi crackets.
Right.
That Richard does my nut.
And a few others besides.
Yeah, no, he goes on robotic arms and legs, right?
Yeah.
Then he moves on to something else. Then he gets on the day the devil died.
Yeah.
Cloud Cuckoo Land, I tell you something, the day I get my compensation, if he rings up and starts going on, after 20 seconds, if you don't cut him off, I'm not coming down to give you £500 to donate to Just for Kids.
Right, okay. Oh, there's threat. There's a threat. Got to make money for the bands, right?
We have to.
That's true.
Right, no, he just doesn't me bonds. He goes, all right, it was all mapped out, all planned in your DNA, this, that and the other. So does that mean, right, that on the 10th of June 2003, that my 6-year-old brother was supposed to die?
Presumably, everybody was supposed to go. It was supposed to be Armageddon and the dead should rise out of the sea and all the rest of it. That was the Bible, that. But that's kind of what he meant.
Right.